Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I mean, it's also like the firehouse, I think they have a generator, but it would be nice if some place could stay open a
Right,
little
and-
bit later.
And we need to, her point was that we need to advertise it, so you know.
Right.
Because when your power's out, you can't necessarily look it up,
Right.
you know? And I did speak to our town manager about it, but I have to look up my notes from when she was here, and then I will talk about it again. But sorry, Dennis.
So how many municipal buildings have generators?
The fire stations all have them.
But they're not municipally owned.
We don't own those
Right,
buildings,
right.
but they could
But
stay
they-
open. The DPW here and Town Hall, the police, which is the same thing,
Right.
right? Yeah,
In,
but they,
in the senior citizen.
right next
Yeah,
door,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
It's
Yeah.
called the community center.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, they have it, they have that?
The community center does, but again, they don't stay open all the time,
Right.
which is the problem.
But
Yeah,
there's a
you need
state,
a windows.
I
Yeah,
think there's a state law as to what you have to have in terms of cots, water, facilities.
if you stay open after midnight, really?
I think I remember there was something specific years ago when we looked into it that you had to have certain staff on.
We'll look into it. What, could you tell me your last name?
CONNAUGHTLN.
L-N?
TLN,
On Gianna.
yeah, one Jennifer.
Okay.
Phone number?
My cell phone is 201-230-2869.
Yeah, I will talk to I referred it to the Emergency Management Committee.
Yeah.
The councilman is on, Mark Forstenhausler. And again, the fact that we need backups, we need them promoted before something happens, because
Okay.
people can't get them. And then we'll need to find out after, you think it's after 11 PM, you need cots?
There's certain, in terms of people sleeping in a facility, a municipally owned facility, there are
I'm
requirements.
sure there's rules, yeah.
Yeah.
But you might not want to sleep here, you just want to charge your phone and read a book.
Well, it'd be nice, well, I mean, but let's say if the power went out all night and it's 0 degrees out.
Yeah.
Like it has in the past.
That's the problem. It's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of people have generators and things like that.
Yeah, I don't have one. Do you?
The
I don't.
county,
Do you have a generator?
yeah.
Do
we
you?
just
You have
put
one?
it in.
Yeah, but it's
Do you?
too loud, right?
No.
No,
No, I have one.
Oh, you have one built in?
We spent $18,000
Oh.
last year to put one for the house,
Mhm.
because we had the portable one, it was very loud and hooking it up. and
Constantly running around.
Oh,
with-
yeah?
With
Wires and gas
Wires,
and stuff.
so now
plugging in the refrigerator.
So you have it built
and,
in?
we have it built in on the side of the
yeah,
house
it's like
now.
$10,000 to $20,000 to use it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
you can't turn your
And
lights
then to
on,
do the
otherwise
other
everybody
ones,
in
you
your
know, as you
neighborhood's
get
gonna
older,
be
it gets
counting
harder
on
to
your
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
They
No,
do
I
come
appreciate
a
you
lot of
saying that,
people in
because
my
this other
neighborhood
woman,
have 'em.
I can look her
Oh,
name
do
up,
they?
she told me the
Yeah.
same thing, she lives on Dover Chester. But it happened to her, and the library happened to be closed at that time, and she had nowhere else to go, and it was, you know, it was not good. So having a library where it's only open 9 to 5 during our weekends, you know, or during the holidays, it closes, and you're stuck. I know the Y does, but I think they're a backup, but I'm not sure how light.
The Y has emergency facilities like cots, I believe.
And they have showers,
Do you have to be a
And
member?
shower.
No,
Which is
no.
nice, that's the nice.
but they do have the bathrooms in the showers. But
Okay, so you could go to the Y, you're saying, if the power
I'm pretty
was out,
sure
and
that's
if
the
you
one,
don't-
but she'll confirm.
I will call you and let you know for sure, but we need to, especially now, this time of year, we need to get it out.
Right.
Send it out in our Friday, did you get our Friday email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the one, you have the information.
Yeah,
on?
so we could put that in there and make sure everyone knows ahead of time,
That'd be great.
put it on the
Yeah.
refrigerators.
Good idea.
Because when it goes out, you're like,
Exactly,
"Ah, get out."
exactly, that's where everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, well,
Okay,
I'll give
good.
you a call back, okay?
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
too.
Nice
Bye-bye.
meeting you,
Thank you.
George, right?
Bye-bye.
Dennis,
Dennis.
Dennis,
Dennis.
why do I
Yeah.
think George? You look like a George
My
to
brother
me.
was a George, and my dad was a George.
See, I'm feeling it, Chris. See, I have a George in your family. Sorry.
we went to a fundraiser with a medium,
Oh,
and she told me.
Oh, I see a George, I don't know.
Oh, she was very good, I liked it.
You did.
It was a fundraiser for, cancer,
Right,
but, I don't know, she didn't know anything about me, but I thought it was pretty cool.
yeah.
She was good, but anyway, I'm sorry, sir, hi, I'm Chris Carey,
hi, Chris.
and this is Joanne Beach from the council, and
Hi.
this is Laurel Clark.
Citizen.
She just happens
Oh,
to be
okay.
here, but she also works in our Artworks program.
Oh, okay,
She's an
right on.
artist,
That's
and
cool.
She helps a lot, mostly kids, right? Do you do adult classes too?
Yeah, we do have some
Do you?
adult classes, not many, because
There's no room.
residents, well, we have the time.
Oh, you do?
Because the kids, you
During the
know,
day you
are
could
after
do it.
school, we
Yeah.
have all day,
Yeah.
but, you know, we've run programs and we actually, our adult population is diminished more.
You know what, not to take
You
away
know
from,
why?
you need to have alcohol. Remember, no,
I
all
know,
those
but we're
places.
not allowed to.
You're not allowed, because all those places have those sip and
Yeah.
The
wine and
problem
paint and
is,
sip
I
thing,
can't sign
right?
up for 6 Tuesdays in a row. I can come once, so if you had a
Yeah.
drop-in class,
We can't because of the township budget. We have to budget for it, and if we don't have people sign up, then we can't, and we.
but if you sign up for one like yoga here on Wednesdays, if you just sign up for one, like maybe a Tuesday and 3 weeks from now I can come, but I can't come for the next 2 Tuesdays.
But you don't know until pretty
That
much
day?
the week
No.
of.
So you can't
No.
plan.
You happen to know. We have a lot of people that don't know until the week of,
Yeah.
because they have a sick kid or whatever.
Right.
And it just became a scheduling nightmare.
But what can you learn in one class? Don't you have to be, like,
Yeah,
and you have more than one class, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where a community arts center, more space maybe, more of a drop.
Salary, it's all salary, because you have to have people there, whether people.
Well, if I paid for the registration at $9.35.
But if we only get 2 people to register, that doesn't cover any
Well,
of
then
our
you
costs.
cancel it.
Well, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
We cancel 90% of any adult
Adults are too
programming.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
it's-
figure that
The
out.
priority is the kids, and then
It's
they
a
get home
bad
at night, and they're
taste,
like, I don't wanna
yeah.
do it.
Or it's
Sorry,
bad
sir.
weather.
No,
What would
no
you like to say?
My name's Edward Grimes.
Grimes?
Yeah, I'm with Sativa Cross. We're a nonprofit here in New Jersey. We fight
Sativa?
Sativa Cross. We fight for cannabis patients' rights and for the rights of the disabled.
Spell that for me if you don't mind.
SATIVACROSS. SativaCross.org.
Cannabis and rights of disabled.
Rights of the disabled. And that's what I want to talk about. There's a couple of issues I want to talk about. Maybe you can help with. The one is that you used to have Zoom access for the disabled, and it was taken away, right? We don't have Zoom access anymore, right?
Or what, meetings?
For the council meetings?
We did it during COVID.
Right,
Yes.
right. So,
We have not done it since.
so for years, disabled people, disabled vets, cancer patients, MS patients have been asking for online church, online school, online council meetings, online everything. And for 19 months, we got all those things. We were along for the ride with everyone else.
Okay.
And then after COVID ended, those disability rights, which I call them, because disability rights are human rights,
Right.
those were taken away. So I know a lot of disabled vets, people with cancer, were unable to take part anymore.
Okay.
And a lot of towns kept it going, and we do advocate this for towns, and they've actually changed a few towns have changed their ordinances because they realize that, disabled people can't take part. It is a disability issue. And so I'm wondering, what is it a personnel issue? Is it a money issue? Because a lot of towns tell me they don't have the funds anymore. They don't have the personnel. They don't have the technology. But for 19 months, we had all these things, and all of a sudden, it's like we don't have it anymore.
For 19 months, we did Zoom without video, right? There was no
Right.
video. Was it just audio?
I just remember the names.
I don't remember seeing people.
Yeah, a lot of towns did it differently. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we bought a subscription to Zoom, and
Right.
it was cheap.
Yeah,
We could
yeah, yeah.
accommodate up to 100 people.
Yes.
And then when it was over, we stopped
Yes.
doing it. So what we have been talking about it for a while. Nobody's opposed to it. We've been trying to figure it out. One thing is, our manager has told us the equipment we would need would be about $60,000, which is not the end of the world, but it's significant. And our staff are not trained, so that we would need that, which again is not insurmountable. We would probably have to move our meetings into the courtroom. Right now, we keep them in a conference room. We're kind of like low key, so they have to be up where you can see everybody and all that. So we've been talking about doing that maybe next year, but in the meantime, let me just ask if this is a solution at all. We record our meetings audio. We could post them online, audio, the next day. It wouldn't be live as it's happening, but we always record them. And then if people want a copy, we email them a copy. They just request it.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever does. Maybe 5 times in the last
Yeah.
10 years.
Well,
Nobody,
The minutes don't get posted for like weeks and weeks.
because they
and
have to be
weeks.
approved.
Um,
They have to come
Oh,
back to
yeah.
the next
So
meeting and we
annoying.
Right.
vote and approve it.
Yeah.
Right, so the minutes don't get up.
So if you can have an audio.
And the minutes don't say everything you said, they summarize.
Right.
They'll say we voted on this, whereas the audio, you'll hear every single thing we
Right.
said. But we could get that up the next day.
Yeah.
Is that a compromise until
Well,
we figure it out?
I
or-
think what people want is to be able to take part.
Yeah.
My friend had stage 4 cancer, and he literally took part from his deathbed. Like, he took part in Sussex County.
Yeah.
with their meeting from his deathbed. And he even told them that. He's taking part from his deathbed, and he couldn't do that nowadays in a lot of towns. And that's what I'm advocating for, people that can't speak up for themselves.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So when it's on Zoom, say, we use Zoom.
Well, even if it's a request, even if a disabled people requests a Zoom access for the next meeting, maybe that would even work. That would be a good compromise, where it's not every week, but
Yeah.
if a disabled
ADA
person,
pay for that?
I don't know, that's
Because
good.
that is accessibility.
yeah.
Why wouldn't?
But would they want it to be two-way, where they could ask us questions?
They would want to
can
take
text
part.
it or
And then you
type,
have to
yeah.
open it to the entire public, and we've had some issues with that. Opening up to the entire public, because you get certain groups in there for an hour, and we don't know if they're residents or not, because they just say their name, they could be from anywhere in the world, and then they take over the meeting for the first hour, and we're trying to get business done, and an issue comes up, and you have these people that don't even live here that are screaming about something. We had a couple of meetings where it was a nightmare.
What were they yelling about?
Well,
Well, it was during COVID, so
Well,
it was a
you can
lot.
register.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can have people, have to
And then, you know
register,
what,
like
if there's
on
an
YouTube,
election,
but you have
people
to
have-
have.
problem is we
I
need
know.
staff to do all that.
Well, you need one person, a monitor to,
Well, what does the Board of Ed do? Was that what you just said?
well, the
Board
board,
of
I
Ed.
mean, the high school has their graduation,
Right, live stream.
live stream.
Yeah.
And,
But it's not two-way.
right,
Like, that's what I'm
but
thinking. If we
a
live stream it,
compromise
it's
Live
not
streaming.
engaging.
immediately.
Right, not engaging. It's not accessibility for a
Right.
disabled
But
person.
again, we get emails from people every day, we get text messages every day. If they wanna email or ask us a question, we could get them the next day or
But
that
they
night.
need to know.
It might not be during the meeting,
Right.
right?
So if it was an audio, let's say, and the gentleman listened to the audio the next day, then they could call town hall, they can call Chris or any of us, email us and say, hey, listen, I was really interested in this particular point,
Yeah.
can you get back to me?
Yeah.
Or even when they got the agenda, what they could do is put in a question and
But
Chris
that's
could
against the
read it.
law. I'm a special
Hey.
needs advocate, so.
How you doing,
That's
Wayne?
against the law.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have to have the same access as everybody else.
Yeah, they could have that access, cause our
But
agendas
if
are
they
on the
can't come to a
line.
meeting, then they, because of disabilities, then you
Yeah,
have to, you
yeah,
have to provide it. And
Yeah.
ADA will pay for most of it.
I'm just wondering how much, if it's video or audio, if it's live, and if it's interactive. Cause that's where we had problems with the interactivity. I mean, to be honest, some of our staff, they were like, you know, you're on mute, you're on hold, I mean, it was a
Well, just
disaster.
texting or something, even, you know,
Yeah.
giving
I
them a
think
number to text
The
a
last time
question.
I watched the Board of Ed meeting, which was a couple years ago now, people could type in, and at the end, the superintendent took all the questions, and if she could answer them then, she would, if not, she'd get
Right.
back to people.
That's helpful, yeah.
Okay,
Any kind of access for disabled people would be,
yeah, no,
Greatly
it's a very good
appreciated.
point. We're working on it, we're just trying to figure out, you know, again, the cost and the training is one thing, and in the interim, I was proposing maybe we do the audio quickly.
Mhm.
That might be like a stopgap.
What did they do during COVID? Like, who was doing it and how much did it cost back then?
Well, she just got a subscription to Zoom, our town clerk, and it could accommodate, I think, up to 100 people.
And then it crashed at some point, we had people calling.
But we did take questions from the public. That's what held us up, because people were like on hold, or people wouldn't mute their phone, and we could hear everything going on in their house. We were not professional.
You just need someone that knows what they're doing, that can mute them,
Right.
because I go through that with
Yes,
stuff like that too.
and it was
yeah.
an election year, so the people that were running got on and
Ah.
campaigning and fighting, and we had to let everybody talk.
Right.
So it, like Joanne said, it went on and on. So we
An
need-
hour and a half later, we're still like saying, okay, we're done with this part of the meeting, we have to get on to our
I've been to
business."
meetings like that.
Yeah, maybe you could just text the message, or you could type the message in,
Right,
and then we could address it, or
yeah, I think that
get
there's,
back.
everybody's doing it.
There's
so
solutions.
ways.
And what do you see other towns doing that works great? Probably
The Zoom.
completely live streaming.
The Zoom,
And the people, there's just a Zoom link on their website, they click on it that day.
Yeah. very easy.
See, one of our problems was, no one ever comes to our meetings, they're usually very low attended. So that first day, Donna, our clerk, got the Zoom subscription for up to 100, and it was right after George Floyd was murdered.
Mhm.
We had all.
And there was a
people
huge unrest during
screaming.
COVID, and after it hit 100, we had to shut them off, there were more than 100.
Why would they come to your meeting though? That doesn't make.
Because they were saying that we were racist.
No, well, they just wanted us to do something locally about the
It just
issues.
became you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, people were coming on, they were
It was,
sharing.
you remember, it
the-
was a bad
Oh,
time.
like Zoom bombing? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those. Yeah, that's
So we would
that's
have to figure
ridiculous.
out a way
Yeah.
Okay.
to keep keep that at bay, but we understand.
There's
the point.
solutions for that,
And
though,
it's a
yeah.
good point you bring up, because
Yeah.
people have told us about, they've never brought up this side of it, say like, I wanna be in my pajamas at home and watch it, I don't wanna come out. They didn't mention disabled people who wanna participate in their government and can't, that's
Yeah.
very
And
legitimate.
a lot of churches I know are still doing Zoom
Yeah,
Yep.
because of the
But
elderly.
it's
even
not
if it's only
two-way.
a few.
But I don't think it's two-way.
It's
Well,
not,
It
you
doesn't
can't.
have to be I mean.
You can chat usually with the churches, I think. You can chat.
But also
know.
you can, if that becomes a problem, you can also have it just one way with people just,
Yeah.
texting in there or.
Yeah,
Because we're available, somebody has a question, boy, we get emails all the time, about every subject you can imagine.
I bet.
yeah.
And we
Yeah.
answer them.
We're not opposed to it at all. We're trying to figure out the best way to do it and how quickly we can do it. And my concern is always the interactivity, because I think ideally that's great, but the downside is it can, derail your meeting.
You
in a
just
way.
mute them, kick them out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kick them right out.
and when we did it 4 years ago, we were not experienced enough. I just remember all the muting and dogs barking and turn off, and
There was a
everything.
couple of inappropriate pictures. I
Oh,
remember
good,
online.
that's always fun.
If you know what I mean.
We got better after a while, though. We all got better. We
I
all
know
got
how
used
you
to
do
it.
now. 4 years ago, I wasn't good at it. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah,
Edward
thank you.
Grimes,
Yes.
okay. Do you want to give me an email? or-
Sativacross.org,
Oh,
that's
okay.
our website, or leftygrimes@gmail. Leftygrimes@gmail.
Or
Yeah.
Lefty Grimes
Yeah,
at Gmail, Grimes, right?
yes.
Okay. And what was your other?
My second question, I think
And
Wayne's,
that might- Yeah.
yeah, Wayne's going to agree with me on this one. For disabled people as well, cannabis dispensary in Morris County, we don't really have many. And I know for myself, I'm disabled and I have to go pretty far to get any kind of medicine for myself. Right? I have a lot of injuries. I have a lot of neuropathy. I have a 2-level fusion in my neck. I have an artificial disc. I have a fusion in my lower spine, L5S1. Neuropathy, my arm feels like it's on fire today. And that's why I can't normally make these meetings. That's why I do Zoom, a lot of council meetings from Zoom. But the problem is you sell fentanyl, you sell alcohol, tobacco, all these other deadly, dangerous drugs. But medical cannabis, I'm talking about medical cannabis specifically, they need to maybe carve out a space for medical cannabis.
How far do you have to go?
I'm in East Hanover.
But where's the closest?
Uh,
I thought is there not one in Dover anymore? Is there?
Dover has
they're
one.
Okay.
Yes, they're brand new. They're good.
They just started. right?
Yeah. Normally the ones I like are in like cranberry, or I have to, because I need strain-specific cannabis for myself, and a lot of dispensaries don't have what I need, so I have to
Right.
travel as well for that. So that's another issue.
So the dispensaries are different than the other retail cannabis stores, right? Or are they the same now? Since they're
There's
on-
medical and there's recreational.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're still separate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You-
You can have both, but if you're just medical only, you have to be a patient. You have to have a card
And a
to get in there, and a prescription,
Okay.
which is what I'm asking for, a medical only.
Right.
Well, somebody has to come to us with a proposal and get the state to grant it before we can do anything. I know
No
you're
one-
asking us for it, but there's a process.
No one has come to
right?
us and asked us for a cannabis dispensary in
Medical.
Randolph,
Yeah.
medical
Or
or
recreational.
recreational yet. I mean, I know when the law changed.
I don't know, at a town council meeting around 4 years ago, we had that discussion.
Right, we had a discussion about whether we were going to allow it or not, and we opted out of the recreational.
How do we opt in?
We can opt in anytime you want.
Let's do it now.
Anytime, okay.
Nobody's come to us with an offer for a license yet. So if, we have to, what happens is, we have to have someone come to us and say, we wanna start a business, and then they have to go to the state for the license, and we have to agree that if they get the license from the state, they can have it in Randolph.
Yeah.
So nobody's come to us yet. I don't know about recreational, because at the time, people were a little uncertain, but medical dispensaries, people were totally on board with, but nobody has come. And I remember when we talked about it 4 years ago, that people had to go an hour or more, hour and a half. So I remember hearing that Dover opened one, which made me feel better.
Yeah,
that-
Casa Verde, yeah,
That it was a
That's it.
little bit closer.
yes.
And
You know?
Parsippany has one too, I think.
Yeah.
I
But,
like to have recreational in Randolph, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
well, again, nobody has, no business
So I have
entrepreneur,
to go to the state and apply for
a
one of
license.
their licenses.
Yep. they have a limited number of licenses. And then as part of your application, you have to have us sign that said, we're okay with it to have it in Randolph.
And then you have to run it.
And then, yeah, you have to.
That's how it works.
When you have a business.
But nobody has come to us right now. I'm not saying that the whole council would agree to it. I think medical is different, but recreational. What happened 4 years ago, we had a committee, and they met all during COVID on Zoom for like 18 months. And we had, I'm trying to think, we had members of the Economic Development Committee and the Chamber of Commerce, because you know, it could be a big
Health department.
tax. We had the health department come, we had the police come, we had,
We had both
planning,
of us were on it.
and we had people from other towns come to talk
Yeah.
about their experiences.
Mhm.
And one of the negatives, I think it was at Denville, on the Denville
Booton.
Gordon, the odor. The residents were very upset.
That was for one
That was
of
for a
the-
processing plant.
We're
Right.
not, oh, yeah, that's different.
That
But
wasn't
but it was, there's
commercial.
6 licenses you can
Yeah.
have for growing, processing,
Yeah.
warehousing, retail,
Edible.
delivery, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember people were very opposed to the
Right.
growing and the processing because the smell. They said that other towns were very upset about the odor. Retail was the one, and delivery that people were not so upset with. But again, we decided to opt out because it was brand new, and we said, let's opt out and see what happens in the state, because we're not
The state
the most
didn't finalize,
innovators, I guess.
the state didn't finalize all their guidelines at that point, and that was 4 years ago. I don't know if they have or they haven't, but they have not told us that they finalized them.
Well, we didn't wanna opt in with no guidelines, we're like, what are we opting into? So you can always opt in at any minute, but if you opted, if you opted in, you had to be in for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
But you could opt
Okay.
out, so we opted out as a wait and see kind of measure to see what happened over the last 4 years. And really, since then, we have not had people come to
Not
us
one.
and ask us about it, or have a license, or, request it. So I don't know if you know someone that wants to start a store, or, or you,
Know a couple of people actually around.
yeah. But it's a state run, and I think it's like liquor licenses, there's only so many licenses
I
they'll
would
give
think
out.
so, yeah.
Like, I'm making this up, like 30, and maybe they get 100 applications. And part of the application is that your town will allow it, and then they do whatever else. And I think they're giving a break to previous offenders,
Correct.
right? They're prioritizing people that have previous records.
So they say.
That's what they said, yeah. But we're actually going to a conference this week. They have a League of Municipalities meeting every year, and my agenda had,
Me
they're going to
too. That's
3
why I
different
brought this.
cannabis
Mhm.
topics. They're
Oh.
gonna talk to us about cannabis licensing, and I wanted to get an update, but that's kind of where we are. But if someone you know wants to start a medical dispensary, I don't wanna speak on for everybody, but I don't think there was a lot of opposition to that. The recreation, I don't know, there was a little bit of, oh, who knows what it means, what does that mean to our town, and,
Up on the Cape, I'm on the Cape like 5-6 times a year.
yeah.
They have the best dispensaries there. They're
Medical
High-scale.
dispensaries or recreational?
both.
Okay.
I go to the recreational.
Yeah.
And you have to show ID before you even walk into the building. It's almost looking like a doctor's office.
Yeah.
You go
Yeah.
into like a waiting area, and then they scan you in again, and then you go into the,
Right.
the retail area. I mean, it's so high quality. I mean, and this is the Cape. These are gazillionaires.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And there's lines.
Yeah.
So it's not about quality of, it's how somebody approaches it, it's just like, why, if we can have crappy liquor stores that look really trashy.
There's
An
not
adult
much you
bookstore.
There's not much you could do if there's a trashy looking place
Right.
that's in business.
know, so-
We can't just shut down people and say, oh, that window doesn't look good,
No, I think that's probably the concern of a lot of people, is that it's going to,
Right,
but those days have passed, like years ago, right?
Yeah.
and you can always get delivery.
Right, we could get delivery.
So we can't opt out of delivery, that was one of the licenses that you can't opt out of that. But again, people were opposed to the growing, and I think it has to be indoors mostly around here.
Yes.
It has to be, yeah.
And the processing, the smell, warehousing wasn't that bad.
Well, the warehousing, the police had a concern about. Remember, they'd have to have cameras, certain level of security.
But around here, there
Yeah.
weren't facilities large enough that would, that
Yeah.
people would wanna do.
That's right, they
So it
needed 40.
Really comes down to retail. and whether someone comes to us to apply for a license. And at that time, we would discuss it and decide what to do, but it hasn't happened yet.
First, we gotta do the application, okay?
Yeah, I
Sweet.
assume it's all online, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yeah,
again, the medical side, I personally feel is different.
Yeah, I think
I don't think there'd be a lot of pushback on that.
Well, you could open
I could, I'm a pharmacist.
oh, okay, well, there you go.
in her spare time.
it. Right.
My nephew worked in a marijuana plant in South Jersey, down here in Atlantic City. I just remember he had to they take all their clothes off and wear their thing and then they leave. You know, like you had to strip down and you can't take stuff with you.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you have to wear respirators because you have a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
dust in the air,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know anyone that's thinking of it or they haven't approached us, but they certainly can, if you know somebody.
I don't know about medical, but you're definitely gonna see me again in the future for recreation.
All right, we'll be there.
Sweet. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for your
We'll
time,
be
appreciate
open-minded.
it.
I don't think anyone is, you know.
You know, it's been nothing has happened, you know. It was terrible, you got bad press when it was just California, right?
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of crap.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, it's everywhere now.
But again, I don't think we want it to
So
be
if it's in
the test
Dover,
case. We're
I
not,
mean,
like,
people can
we're
go
not
to
that
Dover,
brave,
which
guys, you
isn't
know?
far.
So we
people
said
can
4
have
years
it
ago, let's just wait and see what
delivered.
happens. And like Laurel said,
Why,
nothing.
I mean.
Yeah, this guy didn't fall, yeah.
Well,
We're still going forward.
Yeah.
Knocking on our door for it.
that's that side of it.
But are you in East Hanover?
I'm in East Hanover.
How close is your
What we
dispensary?
gotta do is.
Well, I go to Cranberry, or I go to Casa Verde now.
No, that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Is that right on-
It's on 46, right on 46. Yeah.
Well, that's not our
And you
job.
have to have a prescription, so you can't.
No, I think they're recreational as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
I believe they're recreational,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
Dover is
Yeah.
recreational.
Yeah.
Casa Verde. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was just medical.
It's not that far like it used to be 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And will
yeah.
they deliver to Randolph? Do you know anybody?
That's a good question. That's an extra fee too. It's really very expensive. So, yeah.
Why? Because of
This is not that many
security?
people that,
Insurance?
it's not like Grubhub, you know, where they get like 15 deliveries.
Yeah.
They might
So-
get 1 or 2 a day.
I was thinking of, Uber Eats and Grubhub, because they have so much.
Like I'm on a fixed
Why
income,
wouldn't they
you
pick
know.
it up?
So the delivery fee.
Be tough for me, yeah.
Is, does insurance, medical insurance?
No, not yet. Not yet.
For the prescription at all?
No.
Seriously?
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It's not a prescription yet. It's only a recommendation. The doctor writes you a recommendation, which is different than a
Is
prescription.
that New Jersey only?
Everywhere, I believe, right? Yeah. And
I
it's,
thought you could get a prescription.
once it goes Schedule 3, I think it'd be prescribed.
Yeah.
And then insurance will probably, maybe,
You don't
cover
have
it.
to write
Yeah.
Long way for that.
Yeah, down in Trenton, they're covering the government workers, though. You heard about that? Some kind of insurance to cover the government workers for cannabis.
cannabis?
Cannabis, yeah.
It's funny when the government has different insurance than the.
But
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't the government still testing? Don't they still do random testing for it?
For cannabis, I don't, well, maybe it's sensitive, like
Do they do it for Randolph?
Not that
I
I'm
know
aware.
it's, you know, township by township.
bus drivers and maybe stuff like that, but like safety positions, I think they do.
Do they test for alcohol?
Police.
Well, for safety reasons, yeah. If you're a bus driver, yeah, sure.
Certain jobs, I guess, I
Yeah.
don't know. Huh, interesting. Well, no, you bring up good points. I can definitely help out with, the Zoom and figure that out. I feel like that's something we're gonna be working on. We've been talking about it for a couple months.
Yeah, it would be very
more
helpful too.
intensely. So I feel like it's something we're gonna solve soon, in the next few months. I mean, our manager is on board too. We're just trying to figure out the equipment, what we need, who gets trained, how we actually do it.
Yeah.
Who's the tech guy?
Adam,
Adam, that's
Yeah.
right. Isn't he, I've only met him once. He kind of disappeared. Doesn't he do all of that?
yes,
He's been wiring the whole building. We
Yeah.
spent $500,000 on new
we weren't,
wiring.
Yeah,
we weren't
I
great with
hear
our
that.
He's
computers.
very busy. He has no time.
Here comes Avery. Yeah, but that I feel I can get back to you on. The cannabis, again, it's 7 people on the council, I can't speak for all of them, so, but I feel like the medical part is. Just wanted to say congratulations. Thank you, hi sweetie, how are you?
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate
Thank
you
you,
coming.
Councilwoman. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming in.
Oh, we're so busy. Just police stations without wheelchair access that I'm dealing with now. Can we leave police stations? without wheelchair access, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Good of you doing this.
Yeah.
You're very good to
Yeah,
do.
Brielle, South Amboy, Bayonne at night, Union City,
Really?
Are they
Montclair.
just grandfathered in?
That's the word, grandfathered in, grandfathers are grandfathered out.
That's very good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I saw your post,
Interesting.
and I said, you know, if Wayne's gonna talk about going there, or talk about this, I said, well, I'm gonna go and act on it. And I'm so glad you came, because you acted on it. You ain't just talking crap. I love it, and I record all that.
I recorded this, right?
I hope so. I hope they heard it. I guess they can hear it. Could you guys all hear that? Hey, screenshot. Hey. All right. How do I end this friggin' thing?